So in this session, we are going to look at withholding taxes. And I take this earliest opportunity to welcome you back. In the other session, we look at the Finance Act 2025. And one takeaway is that these laws and these withholding taxes keep on changing depending with the year in reference. You found out there's some withholding taxes that have been scrapped, and there are those withholding taxes rates have been amended. So I will tell you where you can access withholding taxes easily. Of course, you can also access withholding taxes through the Income Tax Act. But if you visit KRA website, come here and say KRA Home. At KRA Home, you'll be taken to KRA website. And when you come to here to individual, you can come to filing returns or filing taxes. You can find you will be directed to withholding taxes. Now, here we want to look at difference. What are withholding taxes? Let me minimize this one. We want to look at what are withholding taxes, and then different categories of withholding taxes that exist. And we end up with how to file withholding taxes on KRA portal. Now, we are saying that withholding taxes, this is a method of tax collection whereby a taxpayer of certain incomes deducts tax upon payment of certain incomes to pay and then remit the tax so deducted to the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes Department within 5 working days after deduction is made. Therefore, to withhold is to keep something. So when you're talking about withholding taxes, we are talking about taxes that have been withheld by your employer or by the past employer. In this sense, is when you have employment income. There are those who have withholding taxes that are not employment income, perhaps maybe professional management and the rest. At the point where you are being given your money, where you are being given your income, you are told we are withholding part of your taxes, but upon you receiving that income, you are going to pay the remainder of those taxes. In other words, I'm saying there are those incomes which withholding taxes is final, and there are those incomes which withholding taxes will require you to pay more taxes in the future or during your declaration of income. Now, the rate of deduction varies depending on the type of incomes payable and the resident status of the payee as provided in the table below. Now, if you look at this table, there are different, we are told artists, entertainers, if they are non-residents, you withhold 20% of their. But this figure, let me be specific here. These rates are as per the year 2023. They keep on being evaluated. Of course, some of them have remained constant, but it's good you update yourself on the current rates of withholding taxes. We have management fees. If you are a resident, you withhold 5%. If you are non-resident, you withhold 20%. Professional fees, what is the difference between management fees and professional fees? Professional fees, here, you are offering a service once. Yeah, you're offering a service once. You have been contracted, come as a consultant. But management fees is regular. You are in charge of the management. Therefore, you have been paid management fees. But all of them are professional anyway, management and professional. Only that professional fees are their services offered not in a regular manner. Basically, most of them are offered once. Training fees, this goes to those organizations that have been registered as trainers. We have companies that offer training services. They withhold 5% of the training fees. Of course, I said the rates are dependent on whether you are a resident or a non-resident. So if you look at the resident status is slightly lower, and you see non-resident status is high. When you see this status means these are final taxes, meaning the withholding taxes for non-resident once you withhold, therefore they no longer pay additional taxes. But for residents, when your taxes are within, then you are going to pay additional taxes. Withholding taxes on betting, gaming, and the rest, as we saw in the Finance Act 2025, this has already been changed. But based on our lesson for this, you can see the rates there. Royalties and natural resources. These are resources that are obtained underground. So in this case, when you are making payments in regard to services on natural resources, then withhold 5%. Dividends for the resident company with shareholding 12.5%, 5% non-resident qualifying dividend, and citizen of East African community. So I'm taking you through this, of course, just to explain some of the issues that may arise. Like when you have interest from bank, if they are being paid to an individual, they are final taxes. They don't. When you have interest from bank, you don't pay interest, don't pay taxes again. But if the interest from banks are being paid to a non-individual companies and the rest, then they are not qualifying. They are not final taxes. Interest from housing bond, interest of at least 2-year government bonds. All this, if government bonds are the same thing, yeah? If it is for an individual, that is final tax. Bearer bonds with maturity 10 years. Rent building immovables. When you are dealing with the commercial building, rental income, you withhold 10% of the rentals, and then the taxpayer will pay the rest. Of course, if you are dealing with monthly rental income, there's a difference between commercial rental incomes and monthly rental income. If you're holding monthly rental income, you withhold 7.5% per month, and that is final tax. But if you're withholding for commercial purposes, this person is going to declare that income at the end of the year. So withholding taxes will be 10%, the balance paid at the respective deadlines. Pension and provident schemers, the rates have been provided there. Insurance commission brokers, insurance commission others. Now here you have to understand there are those who are doing commissions and they are also brokers, and there are those who are doing commission as their main business. So similarly, you need to look at whether the terms for final and but in this case they are not final taxes. Here you'll have to pay the remainder of taxes. Consultancy and agency, 5%, similar to management fees and professional fees. Contractors, if you are a registered contractor in Kenya, you have been offered a job to construct or for road buildings, building houses, and the rest, you are withholding taxes is 3% of your income. Whoever is paying you should withhold 3% of your income, and then you'll pay the rest as you file your returns. Natural resources, 5%. Digital content monetization, that one, this one has been taken effect by significant economic tax. So that one we are not currently the rates. I think they're not the same. Sales, promotion, marketing, and advertisement and advertising services. So basically, these are some of the items that require withholding taxes. Yeah. When you're filing your end year return, of course, this is not what you're going to do today. Today, we are just looking at how to file withholding taxes. You'll have to declare this one as other income in the profit and loss account when you're filing your end year taxes so that you can pay the remainder of taxes. Now, we look into other content down here. We are saying that Here we are looking at income from management or professional fees, royalty, and interest. We are saying the Finance Act 2023. Of course, I said this keep on changing. KRA has not updated her website up to date. So we are still in the Finance Act 2023. Has introduced a new section 10.3 to provide that where a payment has been made to a non-resident person, withholding taxes paid thereof shall not be refundable or available for deduction against the income where now audit adjustment has been made in respect of such payment. Yeah. So withholding income for non-resident will not be available for adjustment. Now, withholding tax payment, the payer of any of the above incomes is responsible for deducting tax at source from payment made and remitting the deducted to tax to KRA. So if you are a withholding tax agent, you will have to deduct this and pay to KRA within 5 days after deducting. Withholding tax shall be deducted and remitted to the commissioner within 5 working days from the deduction is made. Payment of withholding taxes is done online. That's what I want to show you today, how to make payment for withholding taxes by generating a payment slip and presenting it to any of the appointed KRA banks, or you can also pay through M-Pesa. After successfully remitting the deducted amount to KRA, withholding certificate shall be sent to the email registered on iTax by the taxpayer. Compliance, failure to deduct the withholding and remit to the commissioner is an offense which attracts penalty and interest. The penalty for late filing is 5% of the tax due. Withholding tax is usually not a final tax on resident payee. One is required to declare the income and the income tax certificate upon filing the individual returns. So I said, once you have the withholding taxes, you'll have to declare this in your annual year return. Of course, there are some exemptions. There are those people, some of the exemptions from withholding taxes. We are saying dividend received by a company resident in Kenya from local subsidiary or associated company in which it controls directly or indirectly 12.5% or more of the voting power. Those withholding taxes are exempted. Royalty, interest, management fee, professional training fees, consultants fee, agency contraction fee paid by a special economic zone operator or enterprise in the first 10 years of establishment to a non-resident person with effect from 1st July 2025, those are exempted from withholding taxes. Marketing commission and residue audit fees paid to non-resident agent in respect of export of flowers, fruits, and vegetables, exempted from withholding taxes. Interest payments to financial institutions stated in the 4th schedule of interest Income Tax Act. Payment made to tax-exempt bodies, they are exempted from withholding taxes. Resident management, professional training, and construction fees whose aggregate value is 24,000 and below. I'm going to show you when you'll be filing this. You're only declaring withholding tax for an income that is above 24,000. Anything income tax below 24,000, you don't declare withholding taxes. You leave that person because even in normal tax rates, these people they have what do you call personal relief, which is equivalent to the taxes. I remember meeting someone asking, why do you think you have said that when you are earning 24,000 you don't have taxes? If the tax at 24,000 is 10%, 10% of 24,000 is 2,400, and you have a personal relief of 2,400. Relief already offset the taxes, so you end up with zero. So air travel commissions paid by local air operators to non-residents, those are exempted from taxes. How does withholding tax income regime work? The person making the payment deductions or the payment deduct tracks prior to paying the amount due. That means before you pay the amount, you deduct the withholding taxes and then you pay the balance. The tax withheld deducted is then remitted to KRA. The payer is required to generate withholding tax certificate on iTax, which is automatically sent to the payee once the payee remit the withholding tax to KRA. Withholding tax shall be deducted and remitted to the commissioner within 5 working days. I had mentioned that. Withholding tax is claimable by payee when filing their annual returns. Means you are claiming this because if at the end of the year you have to pay that 1,000 and you have already paid 10,000 as withholding tax, you have to declare this one so that you pay the balance, which is 20. Otherwise, if you don't claim this, it means you are going to overstate your taxes. Is withholding tax a final tax? Of course, not all. It's relative. We are saying there are a few instances where withholding taxes is a final tax. Withholding tax is a final when deducted in relation to a payment made to non-resident person with no permanent establishment in Kenya. As you saw earlier on, you found that the rates were relative depending on the residential status, and for non-resident, the rate was relatively higher, meaning those are instances where the withholding taxes is final. With regard to payment to residence person, withholding tax is final when it rate winning, qualifying interest, or qualifying dividends and person. When you're talking about qualifying, these are there are those interest dividends which their withholding taxes is final. I said if you're receiving the dividends from or you're receiving interest from a bank as an individual, those interests are qualifying, meaning the withholding taxes is final. In every other case, withholding tax is not final. The taxpayer is required to declare their incomes and the withholding tax details when filing their annual tax return and to pay any balance of the tax due. How do I pay withholding tax? Any amount withheld shall be remitted to the commissioner within 5 days after deduction is made. Payment of withholding tax is done through iTax. You generate payment slip and present it at any of the appointed KRA banks, or similarly, you can pay through KRA M-Pesa. This pay bill has been updated. Currently, we are using 22222, and then account number will be generated from. There is a disclaimer here. This document acts only as a guide and is no way replaces the provision of respective tax laws. As you said earlier, these laws keep on changing depending with the year and the Finance Act. Yeah. So that is it. This is it about background information in related to withholding taxes. So I will take you now to the core business of this session, and is on how to file returns. I will pick one of the companies here so that it acts as a guidelines. It acts as a guidelines on how we are going to, let me pick this company. Then we shall see how do we proceed from here. Let me stop this and see another screen, which will take me direct to what I want. Good. Now, anytime you want to log into iTax, you basically go to any of your browser and you type iTax. iTax will take you to login details. Here you'll be required to have your company registration number, KRA PIN. So here I can use this PIN. This is for demonstration. Let me use this PIN. P05. I'm using this one just for demonstration. 052371. And then you're required to put the password. And then here you can do, if you find this math is hard for you, quick math, you can shift this one. This is 142. You can shift that to get us. In most cases, you'll find some accounts that tell you to call the number here. Don't even bother to call. Come in and log again, or copy, duplicate that. It will take you direct. You don't have to call that number. Now, If you want to file or you want to pay the withholding taxes, you'll come here to payment registration. Payment registration, then you move next. And then you come here, income tax. Then here you say income tax withholding. And then here, I want to explain about these two cases here. There is by using Excel upload and by this web form. Web form is what we normally use. When you make a mistake and you want to cancel this process, or you want to issue a new certificate, maybe you uploaded a certificate with 100,000 instead of 1 million. You will follow the same process, but now you click by using Excel. It will take you through a process of canceling that receipt. So here you come and say payment. So here they are giving you variety of withholding. But if you are paying management fees, you are paying, and we said they should be 24,000 and above. You come here and pick management fees 24,000 and above. Then you have to choose you are paying for a resident, and then you come here and put the date. Maybe the date today is 12/07/2025. And then you come and put the PIN. Now this is the company. It want to pay to an individual. Let me put the PIN of an individual. It want to pay to an individual. When you put the PIN, it will populate the details of the individual, and it's telling you that the rate is 5%. And then here you come and say, let me say I'm paying this person the principal amount. The gross amount is supposed to earn is 100,000. The withholding tax here is withholding taxes is 5%, because it's 5% of 100,000. The withholding taxes is 5,000. You come and press add. Do you want to add? You press add. Then this is the amount that you're going to pay. You come here and press disclaimer, and then you ask yourself, what payment method do you want to use? Others. RGTS, of course, this is direct wiring from one bank account to another. But in most cases, people normally use other payment method. So when you press submit, it is going to. I'm not going to press submit because this client is not paying me. When you press submit, then you are going to find the payment slip will be generated, and it will give you the payment method, whether you want to use this payment through M-Pesa. It is going to give you the list of banks that you can deposit that payment slip to. Now, a point of clarification here is that when you want to pay withholding tax, let me start the process again so that I cancel this. I don't want to. Let me start the process again so that I want to make this is income tax, and then this is income tax withholding, and then here I'm saying I'm making payment by web form. I wanted to explain this one. This one is applicable to a resident. Yeah. Let me show you. What if I put this one and you see the difference? I put this one and then I say resident. Or I put this one and I pay non-resident. Now, what basically happens is this. When you're paying for non-resident, we use management fees. Let me see what is the rate coming here. Let me see what the rate that is being given here. Let me put non-resident and I put the details. Let me put the details. Today is 12/07/2025. You see the rate is already populated. If we put non-resident, the rate is already 20%. Yeah. Basically, this when you're the difference when you're paying for non-resident, we put management professional fees ordinary, but with the rate here. Now, if you make a mistake, on your filing and you want to redo, you come here and click. You are filing by Excel form. Now, not payment registration, now is payment amendment. And then you look at which month. Yeah. You look at this one. No, let me see this. It should be this one. It should be populated on. I've not. There's no payment made in this part of this. But now here you are going to look at which year you are made in and which month. If there was a payment that the system can detect already, you had generated the payment slip. It's going to give you the year and the month. Then it is going to cancel. Yeah. So it's going to give you the details of how you can cancel that. Basically, that is it about withholding taxes. I'm saying this one, you need to understand the background about what kind of taxes you are paying. You need to understand what kind of withholding taxes is it, because you come here, you'll find a long list of withholding taxes. Not all of them are management fees. Come here. Not all of them are management fees, withholding taxes by web form. You'll find there are different categories of items that are under withholding taxes. So you need to understand what are withholding. Is it for contractors? I think there is a withholding qualifying for contractors, which is 3%. There is a long list. If you go down here, you'll find entertainment, pension, contractual fees. Yeah, when you are paying for contraction fees, and then let's say it's resident. Yeah. Then the date today is 12/07/2025. You see, already we had mentioned this one. Contractual fees. If you are a contractor, the withholding taxes is 3%. Yeah. That is it. That is it about withholding taxes and how to file withholding taxes and make payment. You can make payment through M-Pesa. You can also make payment through bank. After submitting, you are going to be issued with a payment acknowledgement receipt. Then you are going to use that. Follow those instructions. Otherwise, I have not issued mine here because this was not a genuine payment. It's just a demo. Any question? Come back to class. Do we have a question, really?
Yes, John, I do have a question.
Yes.
Can a company be paying someone professional fees for over 5 years? Or at some point, maybe KRA will want that person to be an employee, to be considered like an employee.
Now, I said professional fees are not paid regularly. You cannot be paying professional fee today, professional fee tomorrow, professional fee. That one is a salary. Yeah, you can pay professional fees even for 10 years. The only thing is they cannot be regular. When you pay professional fees today, professional fees tomorrow, that is your employee. A professional fees come in, he's offering a service that require daily running of your company. That is no longer professional fees, that becomes a salary.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other question? Now, if you don't have any other question, you can stop there. We meet in our next lesson in the afternoon. Goodbye.